The other thing, and I hope this doesn't piss anybody off. I really do. But that little bullshit thing yesterday with 6 women on the rocket ship, the Blue Origin New Shepard rocket. What a fucking mountain of capitalistic bullshit that was yesterday. And these 6 women, all millionaires, a couple of them possibly billionaires, in their nice little specially designed blue rocket ship girl suits, getting on board this thing, a couple of them going, oh, I'm going to piss myself. I don't even like to fly on an airplane, but I'll do it because I'm so fucking rich. And you know, I just need to do this to show America how rich I am, how important I am. Katy Perry? Holy fuck. Bezos' girlfriend, Laura Sanchez? Well, it really made me angry watching. And I watched on MSNBC, the launch, the whole schmear, the whole thing. A woman named Marcy Bianco, who is the author of a book called Breaking Free, she had a little piece. I think this was at msnbc.com. And let me just share with you the first paragraph. Here's what Marcy wrote, quote, in America, while a rising number of women are dying because doctors refuse to treat their miscarriages, or women who are arrested for having them, where millions of women may lose hard-won voting rights while others are eradicated from public life and historical record because of their gender, 6 rich women did what rich women do best in perilous times, blissfully abscond to the safety of their own private estates or islands or yachts, or in this case, spaceship, and flaunt their wealth to the masses. End quote, Marcy Bianco. Oh, Jesus Christ. So these 6 women, and you know, I have no issue with these women. To me, they're part of 350 million of us. I don't know what these people do. I'm not all that familiar. I've heard Katy Perry's music before on the radio. I really just don't particularly give a shit. And Oprah Winfrey's girlfriend, I don't care about her either. I mean, they're not in my field of vision, okay? I know rich people exist. I know people exist who do this kind of stuff. But until they do what they did yesterday, I don't have any interest. I couldn't care. Go play. Do what you do. None of my fucking business. But when a theatrical production like the launch of the Blue Origin New Shepard rocket to the Kármán line, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, that's the boundary that scientists have decided to separate Earth's atmosphere from space. When such a goddamn stunt like this is pulled off, it just makes my stomach hurt. Awful. So yesterday morning, 6 mostly rich or famous women boarded a rocket, traveled to the Kármán line, and remained in that space for what? A couple of minutes? And then came rocketing back to Earth, hoping their quadruple parachutes would open. And as Marcy Bianco puts it, space tourism is not feminism. It is consumer capitalism at its most inaccessible. End quote. And Marcy goes on to explain a little bit more. She says, for this cunning act of marketing Blue Origin space tourism, yeah, that's what it is, the company declared these women trailblazers and history makers for being the first all-female flight crew. Let me pause here. Marcy didn't say this, but this was no more of a fucking flight crew yesterday than I was part of it. These were 6 bouncy females who got into the crew captain of a rocket and didn't do a fucking thing about managing, organizing, or engineering their flight. They were like the monkeys that were sent up in the 60s to see if the chimpanzees to see whether they could survive. The chimpanzees didn't do anything either. They were strapped in eating a banana or whatever the fuck they were doing. So to call these people trailblazers or an all-female flight crew, oh, for Christ's sake. But that's how the great American marketing machine works. Huh? On Blue Origin's webpage, Marcy informs us the company includes information about how you too, yes, you, Mr. or Miss or Mrs. or Granny or whoever you are, America, you too can fly on a future New Shepard mission. And in the meantime, you too can purchase commemorative merchandise. Ah, who does this sound like? Sounds exactly like Trump. Doesn't it? Selling any fucking thing he can get his tiny little hands on. Now, if you are the least bit interested in being a space tourist, or as Jeff Bezos puts it, you are part of an all-female flight crew. You are a trailblazer. If you want to be part of that, well, you have to put down a deposit of $150 large, and the Blue Origin company does not share information about the total cost of a ticket, although keep in mind, on the first flight, what was it, last year? The first flight, the ticket was auctioned off by a billionaire for $28 million. So he could be part of an all-something flight crew, a trailblazer. What a bunch of shit. Marcy writes, I'm all for women's progress and liberation, but calling this a win for women feels outright delusional. Well, yes. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.